Now we're going to go over the lesson practice. I definitely don't want to use that bright green, so let's change our colors. Let's go with the purple this time. Blue, purple, whatever you want to call it. Lesson practice. And our lesson practice is a very short one. It says, for the sequence in problems A and B, determine whether the sequence is an addition sequence or a multiplication sequence. State the rule of the sequence and find the next three terms. So for A, there's a sequence, and notice these dots are going on. So that's telling you that there's some numbers before we get to the 18. Then we get to 27. Then we get to 36 and 45. And they have some spaces. We need to find the next three numbers in the sequence, and then the dots continue. So from 18 to 27, looks like I'm going to add 9. And that'll give me 27. If I go from 27 to 36, I add 9. 36 plus 9 gives me 45. So if I add 9 to that, that would give me our next three numbers, which we're going to put in black. Let's go with black. And 45 plus 9 is 54. 54 plus 9 is 63. 63 plus 9 is 72. So still can show that our rule says plus 9. Okay, and we can continue this sequence. We can even find the numbers in the sequence, the terms in the sequence that are before 18 if we subtract 9, but we won't go that deep into it. So our rule here would be add 9 to each term. Okay, we're going to add 9 to each term. That is our rule. It also says, so it says state the rule of the sequence and find the next three terms. So we did that. So let's move on to B. All right, B starts out with the numbers that are listed. 1, 2, 4, 8, and then we have 3 more terms, and then the dots come again. And the dots, remember, the dots just mean there's the same pattern continues. Here, the dots mean this pattern was going on already, and then we pick up at 18. So I'm noticing that this pattern has, if I take to go from 1 to 2, I can multiply by 2. 1 times 2 gives me 2. 2 times 2 gives you 4. 4 times 2 gives you 8. 8 times 2 is going to give us 16. And 16 times 2 is going to give you 32. 32 times 2 is going to give you 64. Okay? Times 2 times 2. So here, our rule is going to be, let's go back to the red. Our rule is going to be multiply each term by 2. Multiply each term by 2. So that's our rule. We found our next three terms, and we are done with B. All right, let's move on to C. C says, think of a whole number, double that number, then add 1 to the answer. Is the final number even or odd? So we're going to think of a number. Let's choose one we haven't used yet. Let's work with the number 9. Okay, so I'm going to start with the number 9 here. And we want to double that number, which anytime we double something, we are multiplying by 2. Multiplying by 2. And when we multiply by 2, we're going to get 18. But then it says add 1 to the answer. So I have 18, and I'm going to add 1. We're going green for the environment, so that's why we use green. And when I add 1, I'm going to get 18 plus 1 equals 19. And it says, is the final number even or odd? Well, 19 is definitely an odd number. Okay, so that means that if we double, we learned earlier in our examples that if we double a number, it'll give us an even number. But now if we take an even number and add 1, we're going to end up with an odd number. An odd number. All right, that's C. We have one more example, and let's slide it over here somewhere. Let's do D. It says this thermometer indicates a comfortable room temperature. Find the temperature indicated on this thermometer to the nearest degree Fahrenheit and to the nearest degree Celsius. So we have to find Fahrenheit and Celsius over here. So this is D, okay? And part 1 of D is going to be, we want to find, let's start with degrees Fahrenheit first. And they use this symbol. The little circle represents degrees and the F represents Fahrenheit. And then for part 2, we're going to find the degrees Celsius. C is going to represent Celsius. Now notice on the thermometer, the F's are on the left. So I'm going to look, and I notice that on the left-hand side, it's just above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and there are 4 little notches between 70 and 80. So that tells me that they're going up. They're increasing by 2 for each notch. So I would say that that is approximately 72 degrees Fahrenheit. 72 degrees Fahrenheit is our answer for example D, part 1. Now we're going to look on the right hand side and find the degrees Celsius. And it's the same spot, but we need to see, notice between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, we have 4 notches again. So that lets us know that the first one would be 72. I'm sorry, the first one would be 22, then 24, then 26, then 28, then you can see the 30. So that is approximately 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's what we have. So that's our lesson practice. Keep in mind that we do have a break at the bottom of that thermometer, and that just means that the pattern, instead of them writing all of the degrees up the entire thermometer, they put a break so that you can see what was there before.